What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Proud Old History. I'm John Kendricks. I'm here with my co-hosts.
Dalton Brown.
We have Dalton Brown and Evan Rena with us. Today we're going to be talking about the current landscape of the college football playoffs and kind of what we're expecting out of Ole Miss this year. I kind of want to just go ahead and start off with what exactly do you think our chances of making playoffs are? Obviously, they're high, being an 8-1 team going into the end of the season. But what exactly do y'all think is going to have to happen for us over the next couple games in order to maintain that and go through the playoffs?
I think we have to win.
I think we have to win out.
Do you think we have to win out? You don't think we can handle another loss?
No, I think we're cooked. Well, nah, I think we're cooked if we lose another game.
You think so? I feel like we could lose a game. I feel like we have enough rapport.
It depends on what the back four do. If Memphis and if any of the other teams that are behind Ole Miss lose a game, then we're locked. But if
you also have to think like the teams that we play. Like if we lose to a 3-win Florida team, or how many wins does Mississippi State have? Like 4?
They have 3, I think. No, they just beat Arkansas. I think you're right. They might have 4 now.
Yeah, or if we lose to Citadel, like if we lose to any of these 3 teams, I think we're.
If we lose to Citadel, we're definitely. I don't even know. They're so lenient with the way they do the playoffs now. I feel like Ole Miss is a team that they want in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're cooked, but I think that's just from strength of schedule wise. If they look at it and they go blah blah blah.
I'm looking through the rankings right now. I'm seeing a lot of 2-loss teams, none in the top 12 except for Notre Dame. For some reason, Notre Dame is number 10. I guess they've played well. They put a whooping on Arkansas. But yeah, I mean, you have 7-2 Oklahoma is number 11, 7-2 Texas, and then you go down to a bunch of 2-loss teams after that are just out of the playoffs. Honestly, I feel like you're right. If we lose to Citadel, definitely not making playoffs. I think that we will lose a game, and I think it'll be to State, but I don't think a State loss will put us back as much as people say because they've played well against other big SEC teams. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we were to lose that in the nail-biter and slide down to number 11, maybe 10.
Yeah, I mean,
if State takes Ole Miss to overtime, as they've done with some other SEC teams, I think they might pull away with that one.
They're bound to at some point, right? Like, they keep taking SEC teams to OT, especially at home, and they keep being on the losing end, except for Arkansas. They finally pulled out a win, but, I mean, that was really battle of the losers right there. I mean, they're really down there as far as SEC teams go this year. But I think you're right. I think if it goes to OT, Mississippi State might just pull that out.
Well, again, I mean, you have to look at a couple of different things for Ole Miss right now, and one is, of course, the obvious in the room. You can't take any game too lightly, but you also do want to have a little bit of an advantage when you go into the playoffs, which that might be, putting in some of these guys against Citadel who have not seen as many snaps, or trying to preserve some of your better players for some bigger games. And I think some of those preparations can be made for Ole Miss. I mean, I get with Ole Miss right now, they're in, new territory. They're not a team with a lot of repertoire going into the playoffs and having success, right? So it's kind of like, oh, well, don't fool me yet. We haven't made it yet. But they've done enough where I think you can have a little bit of credit to themselves. And again, like we mentioned for the State game, that's a rivalry, and that's, basically Starkville Super Bowl, basically. So that's a little different. But for the other 3 games, I think as long as you go out there and you show signs of the same team that has played all season, I can't see Ole Miss not being in the playoffs, really.
Show some signs of life. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're saying. At the same time, I think it's going to be one of those things.
So, does anyone know who our potential playoff first round would be?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Which is chalked because, that's an easy win, but, that's such a boring game. I think Memphis would be such a better opponent.
I wouldn't be that mad. An easy
Memphis
win in the
and
first
Ole
round of
Miss
the playoffs.
would be a really cool first round game.
That'd be a generational game. The stadium would be packed. The Grove would be packed. I mean, just think about the Grove packed in December 15th?
Yeah. That would be a fun one. Can someone explain to me real quick before we go on, how exactly does the seeding work for the playoffs? Do you just play the team that you're ranked next to? Like 12 and 11, 10 and 9, or is it like 1v12? How does that work?
Yeah. One plays, or one gets the bye. I guess 1 and 2 get the bye. 3 plays.
3 plays 12. Okay.
No, 3 and 4 get buys too.
It's really the top 4 get buys.
Yeah, top 4 get buys. Well, it's not even top 4. It's the 4 conference champs of the Power 4.
Oh, I see.
So ACC, SEC, Big 10, and Big 12.
Who's looking for the SEC championship game right now? I know A&M and Georgia? No, Bama's ranked higher than Georgia.
Well, it's Bama and A&M, but if Georgia loses a game and if Georgia drops a game and then I'm trying to think who else would have to drop a game. Probably A&M or maybe Bama has to drop a game.
Could be us in the.
Yeah, it would be us.
I didn't realize how close it was. It's Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss. BYU, how did they get up in there? Why are they 8-0? That's a good question to ask. How old is their quarterback?
I mean, they just play nobody teams. Like, the Big 12 is such a joke. There's no comp.
Who was it that went undefeated and then got curb stomped by Georgia in the Natty? That was TCU, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they put up a, crazy fight against...
Well, they played good to get there, but, when they got there...
I was at that Michigan... I was at that Michigan TCU game. That's where I'm, that's where I live in Arizona. And, walking into that game, I don't think a single person thought they were winning at all.
They don't really have any reason to think that.
Yeah.
Getting wins and being incredible are two different things.
And then I think everyone went into the Georgia TCU game and they were like, maybe they do it again. And then they just got absolutely rolled.
That Georgia team was a different monster than that Michigan team, though.
Yeah, that Georgia team, I feel like they would have done that to most collegiate football teams at that time, except for Bama for some reason. So what do y'all think about this kind of first-time narrative? Seeing that Ole Miss has never made a college football playoff, what do you think that means, not just for Kiffin, but really for the school and the program in general? Because now that they've widened it, do you think that takes a little bit away from making playoffs, or is the playoffs still the playoffs?
I think the control is within the team right now to write that story, Okay. And again, I think there's enough to be worried about, sure, and how Ole Miss has been before, and having hype and having big leads and maybe not finishing the way they should have finished and everybody expected them to finish. But that's in the past, and that's not here. That's not, what's ahead of us. And I think that's kind of what you have to imagine yourself if you're an Ole Miss football player. Is you can't be thinking about what you used to do. You're a different team, and doing, that isn't going to help. You got to do what's ahead of you now, and so that's just planning day by day. And, there's no reason, there's not a team, I don't think, in the college football playoff spectrum, even Ohio State, that it would be, impossible for Ole Miss to beat, right? And definitely if you're an Ole Miss football player, you got to believe that. So I think that's kind of what you're doing right now is you're rewriting that narrative for yourself. And you deserve that, and as a player, and the fans at Ole Miss deserve that. Everybody here is bought in, right? I don't think there's anybody here that is not feeling the effort that has been put into doing this, right? And so I don't think this is one of them things where, oh my God, we made it. How did we do this? This is great. I didn't know. We've had, people that fill up the Grove 7-8 hours before the game. We have, fans who are going to stand by anything Ole Miss does, win or lose, draw. And I mean, so right now I think you have to rewrite that narrative. You're not the old Ole Miss football team. You're a different one. You made it this far, and so now you just choose to not think of that. You choose to imagine yourself in a different light than you used to, because again, this is not the old Ole Miss football team. That's what opponents are going to think coming against you, and that's how you're going to beat them. Is they're going to think, oh, this is just Ole Miss. They made it this far, but they're going to choke it. We just got to outlast them. They're going to choke it. No, not anymore. We don't do that anymore. We close out games. We win ball games. And so I think that's what you got to put your mind on.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of what you just said, like packing out the Grove and the stadium and all that, how do you guys feel? I know it's pretty new, but they just came out and sent us an email today that they're going to be giving 3,000 students priority access for the next season tickets, as long as they check in and stay for the whole game and scan out with their student ticket for the Citadel game and the Florida game for the rest of the season. And they'll give, if the first 3,000 students that do that priority access for next season's tickets. Do you think that's fair? Because then only even the people that got screwed over this year, aren't going to be getting the opportunity to do that early thing. And so you kind of just set the precedent of continuing to, mess up the people that didn't get tickets this year.
I do think that you have a point there. I think it's a good idea, the scan in and the scan out. I think it's annoying at a certain point. I feel like there's got to be a better way to keep track of attendance than having someone physically scan in and scan out of a game, because getting out of a game is already a nightmare. Imagine if 20,000 students are trying to scan out. Security's going to hate that. The students are going to hate that. I think it was in good taste. You want to give the students who stay the whole game, give them their they should get priority registration. They shouldn't have to fight for tickets because they're the ones that are actually going and staying. You want those guys at the game. But at the same time, the students who didn't get tickets this year, who would be staying to the end of the game, still get screwed because they don't even get the opportunity to put their hat in the ring. And there's not really a good way to remedy that, because you don't know what you don't know. They don't have tickets. They're not at the games, so you don't know if they were going to stay anyway. So how do you include them in priority registration like that? I honestly have no idea how they should go about doing that, but I feel like there is a better way than just physically scanning in and scanning out of games.
What do
I'm not sure.
Think, Bill?
I mean, I've kind of talked about this before. I don't foresee them ever having, until a new stadium's built, really, I don't foresee them having a great system with the student section, other than kind of how they have it now. I mean, even with how it is now, there's a problem with funneling the students into the student section. There's a problem with the tickets. I mean, getting their ticket. I mean, that whole thing is just, it takes forever, right, as a student. That's why you have students that go to the game 30, 45, an hour ahead to get seats, not because it is always so hard to get a good seat, but mostly it's hard just to get in there. And I don't know, as far as the ticketing part goes, I think that they'll make it fair. I mean, I have faith in Ole Miss to make it fair, even for the exclusiveness. I think that's okay. And, I don't know. I like to believe that for how they have it now with this because the website shut down. So I work IT, and it wasn't sanctioned through Ole Miss, but I think it was a third party that built the website and built the whole ticketing format system and it shut down, right? It crashed or whatever. And the issue with that really was, I guess you'd say, just all at once, everybody trying to attack it. And so I personally wish that they would do something a little bit more dispersed, like maybe you could go in person or online. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know if that would necessarily fix the problem altogether, but I thought that could be an idea. But I don't know. I mean, I know some people who didn't buy student tickets, and they've told me all year they just go up and give cash to the security guy, and they've made it in every game. So,
that's a good strategy. That is. What would you think about just why set a limit on the student section? Why not just because I feel like it is strange to sell the seat limit of the student section expecting every single student who owns that ticket to go every week. What would y'all think about taking away the cap on how many student section tickets you could sell and just say, if you don't get a spot, should have come earlier?
Well, honestly, yeah, I kind of like that idea. You sell however many tickets the students are, and then it's first come first serve. Then they just close the gates at whenever whenever you hit capacity. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, why even close the gate? Why not just, you can stand, you can do whatever, you can pack it out more than it needs to be. I don't understand the problem with the student section being overcrowded. Generally speaking, it's never full. Unless it's an SEC night game. SEC morning game, you're going to have the upper 3 rows empty, and it's not going to be packed in the middle anyway.
Yeah, that is true.
I think another thing about it is a lot of people, a lot of people are going to the square and the nightlife after, and with like how high the covers are, I think a lot of times people try to beat that line, and Ole Miss can't do anything about that. I mean, you're never going to have, unless they make some kind of city ordinance where a bar cover cannot be over a certain price. You're always going to have people that leave early. But back to what I was going to say, my mentor used to have this analogy. Sometimes you have to put the fire on people, right? And before you necessarily punish them, you try to put the fire on them. And what that means, in a sense, is, if you have somebody, or what I think Ole Miss could possibly be doing is, obviously Lane Kiffin and other people who are, unhappy with the attendance later in the game, and with Lane being a sought-after coach, Ole Miss management is probably thinking, we got to address this, so he knows that everything he's upset with is being addressed. And so I think, potentially, because, in my head, that don't sound like that great of a plan. And if I'm thinking that, I know that people running the show probably are having the same doubts as we are, but they have to put the fire on the students, right? They have to, the same thing with the storm field situation, I think. If we was to storm the field, would they really take away student tickets? Would they spend the manpower to analyze people's faces and do facial recognition? Probably not, but they have to set the fire and give people a reason not to. And so right now, I think that might be what Ole Miss is doing, is kind of saying, hey, we have a good football team. Y'all wanted this for a long time. We have a good coach. We have a lot of good things. Y'all have to appreciate this. And they're trying to put the fire on the students to appreciate it.
You're a very wise young man, Dalton.
Yeah, no, I liked exactly what you just said.
Where are you coming with these quotes and stuff, dude? Who is your mentor? Can you put me on?
Yeah, man, I'll introduce you anytime.
It's just you, I know. This is all off the dome. So do you think that if cover was cheaper on the square, that we would have, 1, greater attendance, and then 2, greater gameplay, because the support for the football team would be much higher if we had student section at max capacity all night?
Yeah, I would agree. Well, I would agree.
I think it'd be naive to say they don't correlate. I don't know if you can guarantee a difference, like a drastic difference.
I can agree with that.
Anybody would say they correlate for sure, because, I mean, just because the ball game over, we're all college students. Let's admit it. The fight's not over. We want to go have fun, and especially if we win, we want to go celebrate the win. And if we can't get into the best place to celebrate the win, then we feel like we have, been left out. And so people will always, try and solve that. I think what really needs to happen, I think, as far as, that, it's kind of like what could be addressed more so than that. I don't think you can really fix it, but you could fix the stigma behind it. So, here's another good analogy. So, back in the day, people of all classes would ideally, if you looked at them now, say they dressed more formally, right? Even the lower class people would be seen in a suit and tie. And, people would say, why do they not do that now? Well, there's a long reason, but the short answer is because of the social stigma that comes behind it. Used to, and back in the day, if you was not appearance, well dressed, you was ridiculed. You were publicly shamed and bullied and harassed. And,
So you're saying we should bring back bullying?
No, I think we should set the precedent that
Okay.
now that we're a good football team, we don't leave games early anymore. And if you do leave games early, you're lame. You're not a real Ole Miss. You know, if we win the Natty, you can raise your hand too, but don't act like you were really there for all the games. You know, all 8 home games. Right?
I think that would be a positive time to bring back bullying. If you see someone leaving the student section, you should start chirping them.
I
Exactly.
think we should just lock it. Like, that's just not.
I agree. Why don't we lock the gates to the student section and make them stay? We can go Lord of the Flies in the student section. Just make them sit on that island.
I'd like to say Dalton Brown is not behind this idea.
Straight up ISO ball. You got to sit in the student section until game's over. You can either leave after or not. I like the lock the gates idea. But make the
Yeah.
concession. If you make the concessions and drinks cheaper and lock the gates, I can get behind that.
Okay, they did make them cheaper, but
By what, $1?
no, like, well, yeah. I mean, I was in Athens for the Georgia game,
Yeah.
and everything was like $3.
Dude,
Like,
Oxford's an expensive town.
Like literally everything was $3 in that.
Dude, I paid $10 for a water the other day.
What, at the game?
Yeah, at the game.
Yeah, like, that's crazy.
It's unreal.
But there is a water tank with free cups. You have to admit.
I mean, I wasn't
Yeah.
sitting in the student section. I was up top, and I had to get a water. It was a refillable water, but $10 for refillable water is crazy. That's like, I think I could buy 2 little 30 packs of water from Walmart for that price.
Okay, well, student section water's like $4. I want to say.
For one,
I think so.
that's still unreal. What a markup.
Could you imagine if they made beer like $3? How many people would stay at the games?
Dude, how many felonies would be committed at the games? I feel like the drinks, if you were to make them cheaper, not that cheap, I feel like the students would definitely be more rowdy, but getting towards the fourth quarter where they would be getting a little bit more arresty, the cop presence would have to be...
Sales in the third.
Huh?
Dude, don't they like cut off sales in the third, or am I tripping?
I feel like
cut
they
their
do.
sales to- Yeah.
I don't know if $3 drinks would be good for the local atmosphere.
I think it'd be great, honestly.
I think dollar
there's
hot
not a
dogs
place
though.
in Oxford you can get a $3 alcoholic beverage.
No, you haven't been to the cigar bar. It's a great
You
spot.
clearly have never been to Roosters.
Back on topic.
Yeah, my bad, guys.
Let's see here. Do you think Ole Miss fans would be satisfied with a first round exit? You make playoffs, and then you go play whoever, and then you get that first round exit. What do you think happens
I'll tell
there?
you, I'm not satisfied with anything less than a national championship.
Now that's crazy to say.
Did anyone see that Lane Kiffin's story today?
I did not, but I do love keeping up with Lane Kiffin's Instagram. What he posts.
He reposted a quote, and it said, "Becoming the best version of yourself comes with a lot of goodbyes." And then he commented on top of that and said, "Sure does. It's not easy, but it will be worth it."
Okay, well, I don't necessarily think he's talking about his current situation, seeing as he has left about 5 programs now. I'm gonna say that to myself. Hopefully, he's not alluding to leaving.
How shocked are we?
If Lane Kiffin leaves, if Lane Kiffin leaves, honestly, bring back Hugh Freeze. I think he deserves a second chance, as do we all.
I think that's a crazy take.
Bro, for an interim spot until we could get someone better, I would rather have Freeze than no one. At least he's gonna get
Interim spot, Coach O.
Dude, no, we're not giving Coach O a job. Keep Coach.
hates Ole Miss.
He's coached here before, briefly.
But I don't think he really likes Ole Miss that much. I could be wrong, but I don't think he likes it.
I don't think Coach O would have a good time here. I think we should keep Coach O as far away from Oxford as possible.
Yeah, Oxford's not like Ole Miss is. I don't think they're ever going to transition to be like this defensive powerhouse. I think like an offensive scheme team is like similar to like Tennessee. Like Tennessee has gotten really good because their defense has gotten better and really productive over the years, and they brought in Josh Heupel, who is really allowed them to finally score points. And that's like the same thing with, I think Mississippi is a kind of natural place. The South just has a good amount of good football players, and like you can form a good defense in the SEC with, easier than an offense, I think.
I remember our defense being the prominent part of our team when Hugh Freeze was coaching here not too long ago. I mean, that's where we got the name Land Sharks. You couldn't do anything to the Rebel defense.
Amen.
Amen. No words of wisdom for us, Dalton.
Amen on that.
Amen. All right. Let's see here. What else do we have to talk about? If we miss again, when do you think we will have a chance to get back in the playoffs? Do you think we'll get another shot next year? Because this wasn't supposed to be our year. Last year was definitely supposed to be the year.
I think next year, if we keep Lane, if we retain Lane, and we don't lose any of our like OCs or like or Pete Golding, I think the scariest person leaving is Pete Golding. If anyone's gone, I think it's Pete. Because I think he'll have the opportunity to take a head coaching job somewhere possibly. But I think that with how many coaches in the SEC and even the Big Ten with Penn State have been fired, I think the portal this offseason is going to be one that we haven't seen before. And I think that Kiffin and company will absolutely eat up in the portal.
Kiffin and Co. I like it.
We'll reload and come back better. But I do think that this is one of our strongest years because there was never hype on our team.
I would agree.
I think any team, when there's hype around it, you can even get Arizona State. Like last year, they had no hype and exceeded all expectations and were a great team. And then this year, they were all hyped coming into it with Sam Leavitt being Heisman watch and all that. And
that
just
ended.
completely blown their program down from what they were last year. So I think if we're hyped next year, we will still be good, but it's a lot scarier than now because now we're kind of just playing with house money. We have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm. And do we know if Trinidad is a junior or a senior? I think he's a senior, right?
No, he's technically a junior. He played 2 years at Ferris State and 2 years. Well, and now technically this is his third year of.
Interesting. So, do you think that Austin Simmons stays if Trinidad doesn't declare for the draft?
If Austin Simmons is not, I don't think you can sit there and blame Ole Miss though if you're Austin Simmons. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I mean it's a tough situation. Trinidad comes in, he balls out. You're supposed to be the starter, but now you're sitting behind a junior. As a junior, is he a sophomore or junior?
He'll be
a junior next year. He's only a sophomore, I think.
Correct.
Unless I'm tweaking. No, him and Trinidad are the same year.
No. Wait, actually?
I think so.
No. He's a sophomore because he's the same grade as me. Wait, maybe I'm tripping.
Are you a sophomore?
Yeah.
You know your own grade? I'm just going to look it up. I don't know. I feel like I heard a lot about him being young last year, but I didn't know if he was freshman young or sophomore.
Yeah, he's a sophomore.
Okay, wow.
But yeah, he came in in the spring of he came in early spring, so
he's been here for 2.5 years.
Yeah, but he graduated. So I don't know how that works, but
crazy course load. But do you think that Austin Simmons will stay if Trinidad stays?
Yeah, he came out. It could all just be for media, but he did come out and say I'm a rebel through thick and thin.
I would probably say the same thing.
I could see him going maybe even back to baseball too.
Maybe so. Anyway, we have about 20 more seconds left before we have to cut this off, so I just want to go ahead and say thank you for listening. We will be back again later this week with another episode, putting out a lot of them. Thank you for listening. Stay classy, Oxford.